Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu defends defections into APC, says there is freedom of movement. INEC creates AI division to modernize electoral process. Plus, EU calls for respect after Trump threatens 50% tariffs. Details of these stories and more in a moment. Good afternoon and thanks for watching the news on Spectrum TV. We begin the news within the week with the nation's leader, President Bola Tinubu, who has requested the National Assembly to consider 1.481 trillion naira as the budget of Rivers State for this year. Tinubu, in a letter to the two chambers of the federal legislature, explained that the request followed the nullification by the Supreme Court of the earlier budget passed by three members of the then State House of Assembly loyal to the suspended governor, Siminalayi Fubara. The president added that emergency rule in the state informed his decision. The president said that 324 billion naira of the total amount would be spent on infrastructure, 166 billion naira on health, 75.6 billion naira education, and 31.4 billion naira on agriculture. He noted that by the provisions of the budget, agriculture is expected to generate about 6,000 jobs. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu during the week inaugurated the newly appointed board and executive team of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL. He conducted the inauguration shortly before attending the All Progressives Congress Stakeholders Summit held at the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa. President Tinubu tasked the inaugurated board members with raising the country's oil production target to 2 million barrels daily by 2027 and 3 million barrels daily by 2030. Similarly, Tinubu and his administration want gas production increased to 8 billion cubic feet daily by 2027 and 10 billion cubic feet by 2030. He added that the new board should elevate NNPC's share of crude oil refining output to 200,000 barrels by 2027 and reach 500,000 by 2030. This comes after Tinubu appointed Bayo Ojulari as the Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC and Amadou Musa Kida as the non-executive chairman of the state-owned oil firm barely 7 weeks ago. In the meantime, amid mounting concerns over Nigeria's political trajectory, President Tinubu, in the course of the week, defended the gale of defections to the All Progressives Congress APC, stressing that Nigeria's constitutional right to freedom of movement and association allows citizens to join any political party of their choice. The president spoke at the APC National Summit in Abuja, where the government also presented its two-year performance report across major sectors. The president dismissed concerns about Nigeria becoming a one-party state, emphasizing that political changes result from free choice, not coercion. He noted that the Constitution guarantees the right to join any party. Tinubu's remark comes as the opposition parties accuse the APC of weakening rivals and encouraging defections to cement its power before the 2027 elections, warning that this could lead to a one-party system. In a related development, the All Progressives Congress APC had endorsed President Bola Tinubu as the party's sole candidate for the 2027 presidential election. APC National Chairman Abdullahi Ganduje announced this during the party's national summit in Abuja. Meanwhile, The event was attended by APC governors, ministers, and other political heavyweights of the ruling party. Away from that, the federal government, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, is making plans to release intervention funds to support its struggling foreign missions. According to report, the intervention is part of efforts to alleviate the dire financial challenges affecting the country's 109 diplomatic missions globally. The measure came after reports revealed that over 450 foreign service officers have been unpaid for up to 6 months, forcing many into financial hardship and operational paralysis. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has not disclosed the exact sum of the intervention package, but report says that the funds are intended to provide temporary relief for missions unable to pay staff salaries, cover rent, settle debts with service providers, or deliver essential consular services to Nigerians abroad. The intervention is coming amidst broader budgetary and structural issues within the ministry. In the meantime, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, within the week announced that a section of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway will be towed starting December. Umahi made the disclosure during an interview for a forthcoming State House documentary marking the second anniversary of the President Bola Tinubu's administration. According to the minister, 30 kilometers of Section 1 have already been completed, with an additional 10 kilometers in Section 2 nearing delivery. Both segments feature 6-lane concrete paved carriageways designed to meet modern standards for safety and durability. Umahi further revealed that construction had commenced on Section 3 and 3B of the highway, spanning a total of 65 kilometers, covering 38 kilometers in Cross River State and 27 kilometers in Akwa Ibom. He described the positive response from local communities as a clear indication of project's wide-reaching socio-economic benefits. Umahi also highlighted the administration's renewed focus on the Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway, which he noted was part of a broader vision dating back to colonial-era trade plans. Dwagan over alleged defamatory remarks made on live television. The suit filed before the Federal Capital Territory High Court has Akpoti Udwagan as the sole defendant. The government accused the senator of making imputation knowing or having reason to believe that such imputation will harm the reputation of a person, citing Section 391 of the Penal Code, Cap 89, Laws of the Federation 1990. The offense is punishable under Section 392 of the same law. One of the charges is linked to the allegations of Akpoti Udwagan, who accused the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello of plotting to assassinate her, amongst other allegations. However, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello would testify as witnesses during the defamation trial of Senator Natasha Akpoti Udwagan. To the Red Chamber, where the Senate and Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum in the course of the week urged President Bola Tinubu to take urgent measures against the renewed terrorist attacks in the northeast. Zulum advised the president to rely more on the professional judgment of the military rather than political voices in the fight against Boko Haram insurgents. The Senate, on its part, called for concerted actions against the terrorists and also recommended the establishment of a military base in the Hong local government area of Adamawa State. Speaking with newsmen, Zulum emphasized that the solution to the prolonged insurgency lies in strengthening ground-level military intelligence and avoiding political interference. He warned that some politicians and even members of the armed forces were acting as informants and collaborators for the insurgents, further complicating efforts to restore peace. He also criticized the current state of military equipment, noting that the insurgents had gained technological superiority over the Nigerian forces. In the meantime, the Senate within the week called for the immediate establishment of a military base in Hong local government area of Adamawa State following a resurgence of Boko Haram attacks in the area and other parts of the northeast. The resolution came during plenary in a matter of urgent national importance after lawmakers debated a motion highlighting the rise in insecurity in Hong and Gombe local government areas, where multiple coordinated attacks by Boko Haram insurgents have left dozens dead and thousands displaced. While lawmakers commended the efforts of the Nigerian army and other security operatives, the Senate underscored the need to reinforce existing personnel with a permanent military base in Hong to better secure the area and prevent further escalation of violence. Now to the Green Chambers, where the House of Representatives during the week called on the federal government to take immediate action to contain the escalating cholera outbreak in Badagry, West Lagos State, which has already claimed lives and poses growing threat to public health. The motion presented by Ceci Wingan appealed for urgent intervention to prevent further loss of life in the affected communities, and in a solemn gesture, the lawmakers observed a minute silence in honor of those who had died as a result of the outbreak. Meanwhile, the House directed the Federal Ministry of Health and Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) to immediately deploy disease surveillance teams, essential medical supplies, and public health education campaigns to the impacted communities. From the judiciary, the Supreme Court in the course of the week dismissed the suit by the 36 states governments and the Nigerian Governors Forum (NGF) challenging the federal government's application of recovered looted funds. In a judgment on Friday, a 7-member panel of the Supreme Court was unanimous in holding the suit was wrongly instituted before the Apex Court. In the lead, judgment prepared by Justice Chidiebere Uwa but read by Justice Mohammed Idris, the Apex Court held that the plaintiffs wrongly invoked its jurisdiction. To electoral matters, where the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) within the week announced the establishment of a dedicated artificial intelligence (AI) division within its Information and Communication Technology Department. The announcement was made in a statement issued by National Commissioner and Chairman for Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumeko, following the Commission's regular weekly meeting in Abuja. The creation of the AI division comes after INEC's participation in several continental conferences addressing the impact of AI on electoral processes. The Commission acknowledged the dual nature of AI, recognizing both the risk it poses, such as the spread of misinformation and content manipulation, and the opportunities it presents in data-driven decision-making, risk management, service automation, and geospatial intelligence. INEC emphasized that the new division will harness AI to improve logistical planning, material distribution, and polling unit allocation, thereby enhancing the integrity and efficiency of elections through predictive analytics and intelligent automation. On security matters, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetoku, during the week ordered a full-scale investigation into the killing of a 14-year-old boy, Kehinde Alade, in Ibadan, Oyo State on Tuesday. Also, the Egbeda Traditional Council in Ibadan, Oyo State, which described the incident as a tragic loss, has demanded justice for the bereaved family. Alade was on his way to an examination center to sit the ongoing West African Senior School Certificate examination organized by the West African Examination Council when he was hit by a stray bullet shot by a policeman on joint patrol. The Oyo State government said the student's father was driving against traffic when the incident happened. A statement by the force public relations officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, noted that the IGP has ordered a comprehensive investigation into the tragic incident in Oyo State. He reiterated that the process will be transparent and its findings will be made public to ensure justice duly served, as he expressed heartfelt condolences to the family of the deceased young man. Still to come in the news, CBN retains Interest rate at 27.5%, cites global uncertainties. Thanks for staying tuned.
Broadening your horizon is what every living being not only genuinely desires, but heartily pursues and intentionally invests in. For in the gathering of men, only those whose minds are in tune with the dynamics of the past, present, and future innovations, inventions, politics, and governments are respected. They are Spectrum Television. Broadening your horizon is our obsession. Respond your decoder now to connect Spectrum Television on the frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. That is frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. Polarization horizontal, and join our online community at spectrumtvlive.ng. For further inquiries, please call 0704 158 5642 or 0704 541 7707. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
The depth of knowledge, fun, and experience on Spectrum Television can never be overstated, especially when you get them all at once. At Spectrum Television, we start your day with insightful political and social discussion, a spotlight on Africa and the world's view. On well-being, we prioritize your health and mental space, staying fit and achieving goals. Stay updated with the business world, financial markets, and global economic analysis. We bring you all the latest from the world of sports and cutting-edge innovations, looking at the future of tech on Tech Insight. And stay updated with the latest in entertainment and music on Entertainment Now. People don't really know you. Our carefully crafted content is designed to broaden your horizons and keep you informed and entertained. You won't want to miss a minute. Killer, shower you with all my attention. Yeah, these are my only intentions. Watch Spectrum Television live on free-to-air. Scan your decoder to continue receiving the best of our signals or stream live at www.spectrumtvlive.ng. For more inquiries, call 0704 158 5642. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Many thanks for staying tuned, and now to the rest of the stories. To Africa, where South African President Cyril Ramaphosa within the week said his visit to the White House was a great success, even though a confrontation during the meeting with President Donald Trump over allegations of genocide garnered the most attention. Ramaphosa said the country has achieved re-engagement with the U.S. to put the issues of investment and trade on the table and to ensure that South Africa continue engaging through the various other formations. Recall that Trump used the White House meeting to confront Ramaphosa with claims of the systematic killing of white farmers in that country, adding that people are fleeing South Africa for their safety. Meanwhile, the British government yesterday signed a deal to transfer Chagos Island to Mauritius after a last-minute injunction, following a challenge in court by two Chagosian women was lifted by a judge. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the decision to hand over sovereignty of the archipelago to Mauritius ensures the future of a US to UK military base. Reports say the Indian Ocean archipelago is home to a strategically important naval and bomber base on the largest of the island, Diego Garcia. Under the agreement, the UK will pay Mauritius £101 million per year to lease back the base for at least 99 years. Recall that the signing was delayed for several hours after a UK judge imposed a last-minute injunction blocking the transfer that was later lifted by another judge. Still in Africa, Ugandan lawmakers in the course of the week passed a government-backed bill to authorize civilian trials in military courts, defying widespread criticism by opposition figures and others who called it a backward gesture. The contentious legislation was introduced earlier this year after the Supreme Court ruled that civilians cannot be court-martialed, questioning the competence of untrained military officers to dispense justice. The bill states that civilians can be court-martialed if their alleged offenses are in support of or in association with persons subject to military law. It also says that presiding officers must be qualified in law, but opposition figures, right activists, and others insist such legislation is an anti-democratic effort as the East African country heads into elections scheduled for 2026. On the foreign scene, the European Union's trade chief has said that the 27-member bloc is committed to securing a trade deal with the US based on respect, not threats. This comes after US President Donald Trump threatened to slap a 50% tariff on all goods sent to the US from the EU. EU Trade Commissioner Maros Sefcovic noted that the EU is fully engaged, committed to securing a deal that works. He said this after a call with U.S. Trade Representatives Jamieson Greer and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Sefcovic added that EU-US trade is unmatched and must be guided by mutual respect, not threats. Elsewhere, Donald Trump's administration within the week moved to end Harvard's ability to enroll international students, escalating a standoff with America's oldest university Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem, wrote on X that the administration had revoked Harvard's student and exchange visitor program certification as a result of their failure to adhere to the law. Meanwhile, Harvard in a statement described the move as unlawful, noting that the university is fully committed to maintaining Harvard's ability to host international students and scholars who hail from more than 140 countries and enrich the university and this nation immeasurably. The university added that Harvard is working quickly to provide guidance and support to members of its community, emphasizing that the retaliatory action threatens serious harm to the Harvard community and the country and undermines Harvard's academic and research mission. In the meantime, US President Donald Trump during the week said US has selected a design for the futuristic Golden Dome missile defense system, adding that it will be operational by the end of his time in office. Reports say just days after returning to the White House in January, Trump unveiled his intentions for the system aimed at countering next-generation aerial threats to the US, including ballistic and cruise missiles. According to the report, an initial sum of $25 billion have been earmarked in a new budget bill, although the government has estimated it could end up costing 20 times that over in decades. Also, U.S. President Donald Trump, in the course of the week, condemned the fatal shooting of two Israeli embassy staff outside a Jewish museum in Washington. Trump stressed that killings motivated by anti-Semitism must end, declaring that there is no place for such violence in the country. Reports say that the attack took place on Wednesday night near the intersection of 3rd Street and F Street NW, close to Georgetown University Law School and FBI's Washington field office. Meanwhile, Police Chief Pamela Smith said the suspect shouted "Free Palestine" while being detained. The victims were identified as staff members of the Israeli embassy who have been attending an event hosted by the American Jewish Committee at the museum. Elsewhere, U.S. federal judge Young Jaun within the week blocked President Donald Trump's administration from carrying out his executive order to dismantle the U.S. Department of Education and ordered it to reinstate employees terminated in a mass layoff. According to Jaun, the courts were having the opposite effect, as the massive reduction in staff has made it effectively impossible for the department to carry out its three mandated functions. Meanwhile, he ordered the administration to not just reinstate the workers, but also to halt implementation of the coins, commonly known as pennies, which have been in circulation for more than 200 years. President Donald Trump had told the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent in February to stop minting the coins, which he said were wasteful. There has been a long debate over the cost and usefulness of pennies in the US. Meanwhile, other countries have discontinued similar coins, citing the cost of minting it and its falling purchasing power due to higher prices. Canada ditched its 1-cent coin in 2012. On our business news, the federal government, through Debt Management Office, DMO, during the week announced plans to raise 300 billion naira from the bond market via auction on May 26. According to the offer circular released by the DMO, the issuance comprises a 100 billion naira reopening of the 19.30% federal government April 2029 bond and a 200 billion reopening of the 19.89% federal government May 2033 bond. The bonds are offered in units of 1,000 naira each, subject to a minimum subscription of 50 million naira, and in multiples of 1,000 naira thereafter. The interest on the bonds will be paid semi-annually, while principal repayment will be made in full at maturity. Meanwhile, the federal government, in the course of the week, inaugurated a new board for the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, charging its members to adopt a firmer approach to the recovery of non-performing loans. Speaking during the inauguration ceremony held in Abuja, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, called on the new board to intensify efforts towards asset recovery and financial accountability. Describing the inauguration as a significant step in the administration's financial reform efforts, Edu said the ceremony is not merely a procedural event, but a defining moment in the continued effort of this administration to promote financial stability, enhance investors' confidence, and reposition Nigeria's financial institutions for long-term growth and sustainability. Elsewhere, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, within the week, retained the monetary policy rate MPR at 27.5%, citing uncertainties fueled by ongoing global trade war. The CBN Governor, Olayemi Cardoso, disclosed this at the end of the 300th Monetary Policy Committee meeting at the bank's head and corridor around MPR at plus 500 to minus 100 basis points, retained the cash reserve ratio of deposit money banks at 50% and that of merchant banks at 16%, and retained a liquidity ratio at 30%. Cardoso disclosed that the MPC noted improvements in some key indicators, especially the narrowed gap between two foreign exchange windows, the positive net position and of foreign reserves, as well as the easing fuel prices played roles in the decision to hold the MPR. Refinery during the week announced a fresh reduction in the pump prices of premium motor spirit, petrol, across the country. As the competition in the downstream oil sector heightens, the plant announced that the new rates now range from 800 refinery. Reports say the reduction applies in support of whose ongoing investment rounds aimed at addressing rising global health challenges. The statement indicates that the member states approved an increase in assessed contributions, providing an additional $90 million annually, marking a significant step more sustainable in financing. The World Health Director General, Tedros Ghebreyesus, expressed gratitude to all member states and partners who contributed to the investment rounds. And still in health, the medical director of the Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta, Ogun State, Professor Adewale Musa Olomo, called on Thursday that he had identified inadequate salaries and lack of incentives as the primary factors driving Nigerian doctors and other medical personnel to seek opportunities abroad. Despite government efforts to strengthen the healthcare sector by increasing medical school admissions and expanding healthcare infrastructure, Musa Olomu observed that many doctors leave the country upon completing their training to practice in developed nations, offering more attractive remuneration. He emphasized that Nigerian doctors possess the expertise to perform complex procedures such as cancer removal, which are often associated with better equipped hospitals overseas. He stressed that while Nigerian doctors are fully capable of meeting the country's medical needs, their low pay largely explains the ongoing brain drain. And now to sportswear. Premier League clubs Chelsea and Manchester United are set to miss out 26-year-old 36 goals and 40 appearances, a verbal agreement with Napoli free agent this summer after Man City refused to give him a new deal to remain at Etihad. De Bruyne expressed his club this summer. Reports say De Bruyne has already received several interests from clubs like Chicago, amongst others. According to the report, De Bruyne has given his okay to Napoli to sign him ahead of other clubs. And still in sports, Pascal Siakam scored 39 points as the Indiana Pacers beat the New York Knicks 104-109 to go 2-0 up in the NBA Eastern Conference Playoff Finals. The three-time All-Star scored the Pacers' first 11 points at Madison Square Garden as they claimed their sixth consecutive playoff win away from home. Game 3 in the best-of-7 series take place in Indianapolis on Monday. On our entertainment news, Kendrick Lamar's concert at Seattle's Lumen pulled 60,941 fans and grossed $14.8 million. This is one of the stops for his ongoing Grand National Tour with ZA and sets a new record for the highest grossing concerts by a rapper. According to reports, Lamar's Seattle concert broke the previous record of $11.8 million he set at the AT&T Arena in Texas in April. Lastly in the news, within the week, Grammy-winning superstar extended his record as one of the most certified African artists in the United Kingdom. His hit collaboration with British-Nigerian rapper Dave has now been declared 5 times platinum in the UK. The song, released as one of the singles of Dave's 2019 album, Psychodrama, has enjoyed massive commercial success that makes it one of Dave's biggest hits and another major collaboration for Burna Boy. This feat comes weeks after Burna Boy's Alone becomes eligible for a RIA Gold certification. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News within the week. I am Rita Okaba. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Broadening your horizon is what every living being not only genuinely desires, but heartily pursues and intentionally invests in. For in the gathering of men, only those whose minds are in tune with the dynamics of the past, present, and future innovations, inventions, politics, and governance are respected. We are Spectrum Television, and broadening your horizon is our obsession. Rescan your decoder now to connect Spectrum Television on the frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. That is frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. Polarization horizontal, and join our online community at spectrumtvlive.ng. For further inquiries, please call 0704 158 5642 or 0704 541 7707. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.